Welcome in the sewing room. Get y'all adjusted. How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Well, we're going to make us something very quick, very simple, easy peasy beginner baby project. One of the simplest things you can do. Alright? We're going to make us a little lovey with a passy holder or a teething holder or a toy holder or whatever you want to use this for. It's got a loop. You can do that. Okay? You know, we made our little fox the other day. Turned out super cute. Well, I've got some fabric left. So for this baby gift, I'm going to make it with this right here. I had this left over from another quilt I made several years ago. It's a minky that's got little arrows on it. It's just perfect for this little fabric right here. See, doesn't that look pretty together? So the way we do this is, I've cut my squares, and my squares I think are 11 inches. Yeah, these are 11-inch squares. You can make this any size you want it. I would not make it less than, say, a 10-inch square finished, which is about what mine will be finished, depending on the age of the baby. You don't want it to be too big, okay? And this one will be used for passies and things like that. So I'm making it kind of small. I've made them as big as 16 or even 22 inches. But that gets kind of big, I think, for what I want to make this one for. Okay? This is going to be a little Taggie blanket. We're going to put little ribbons around it. And it's kind of more of a toy blanket, not necessarily a, you know, it's more kind of a toy. And to make your little tags, you get your ribbons and you cut them. These will be about 4-inch ribbons right here. Okay? I've got all kinds. I've got some satins and some grosgrain ribbon, both kinds, because they like the textures. Okay? So I'm gonna turn y'all down here, and we're just gonna pin these or clip them. We'll clip them right on here. The right side, okay? You want to do it to the right side. And I've got different widths and, like I said, different finishes. And I'll put 3 or 4 on each side, all the way around. You want to leave them big enough they can get their little fingers through them, okay? This. Actually, y'all, I'm not measuring this. I'm just kind of guesstimating spacing here. Some of them may be a little longer than others. Let's shorten that one up just a little bit. But that's okay. They can be different sizes, different widths, all this stuff. And about 4 across the side of this one that, like I said, see, just like that. And you want them facing inside because we're going to put our other top on and we're going to stitch all the way around, leaving us a hole to turn through, okay? And I'll finish that up here in a minute off camera. But first we're going to make our little piece that goes here in the corner. And I've cut this piece 3 inches wide by 7 inches long, okay? I'm gonna turn it just like this, and I'm gonna sew right sides together down this the long side right here, right down through here. I'm gonna sew this right down through here, okay? And then I'm gonna turn it and press it, okay? So I'll be right back when I get that done. All right, I got this done, and I turned it, and I put my seam in the center, okay? Doesn't really matter, you can put it to the side or the center, but I just chose to put it in the center on the inside there. And it makes a loop just like we're gonna do with our ribbons, just like that. And I'm gonna put this right here on this corner, okay? It's gonna go right here on this corner, and I'm gonna clip it on each side. Oh, y'all, I turned it the wrong way. All right, glad y'all caught that, because I didn't. All right, there's that. Now this is what will hold the passy, and you'll slide that through there, and then you'll run the whole blanket through here, and it'll clip it, it'll hold it, okay? All right, let's see what else we've got here, ribbon wise. Here's a green. Just got one more side to go. You can put as many of these little things as you want to. Like I said, I'm doing about 4 per side. You can do more or less depending on the size of your little blanket. And they don't have to be perfectly spaced. All right. There's this. All right. Now then, we take this and we lay it right like this over the top. Okay? And if you want to, you can come in here and you can stitch this down first. But I'm going to clip it all the way around. And I'm clipping it very, very well. Okay. He's not going anywhere. All right. And here is this. I got it all pinned. I'm going to sew, and I'm going to use a little more, like a fat 1/4 of an inch all the way around, because I want to make sure that I get everything caught very, very well, okay? And I'm going to leave it open somewhere along here so I can turn it. Alrighty? I'm going to leave it open somewhere to turn it through. Where might that be? I'll have to sew down a ribbon and pull up I have to pull this off and sew the ribbons down, but I can do that. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew all the way around until I get to right here. Right here on this side, I'm going to do this right here with these 2 ribbons. And I'm going to come to right there, and then I'm going to sew these ribbons, but I'm going to leave this open, okay? I'm going to sew to there, and I'm going to stop and back stitch there. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to stop and back stitch right here. But I'm going to sew this down, just straight down. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to sew right down through there to hold these ribbons so that when I turn it, they're already stitched, okay? I want to sew these ribbons, then I'll lay this down, back stitch right here, sew all the way around, pivot on your corners, and stop and back stitch right here, okay? That's my plan. and I'll be back and I'll show y'all what we're going to do. It's just about finished. Okay, I've stitched it all the way around and left it open right here. Okay. Now then, I'm going to trim this all the way around. Trim my seam. To about 1/4 inch or a little less. Okay? Cut your corners diagonally, just like that. Get me a better pair of scissors. I'm not going to trim it where I'm going to turn it, okay? Because you need that to turn back in. And we're just going to turn it. One of the easiest things you can make for a baby, and they all love these little Taggie blankets. Yes, they do. You want to get your corners poked through. Do not use your scissors. In this corner, I made a diagonal, okay? Because that's where we're going to attach our toy or our pacifier. All right. Look at that. Yeah, we're going to have dinner after a while, buddy. We need 4.
Go get in the ankle pants.
Hey, he's not going anywhere. Alright, here we go. Look at that. Now then, we're going to turn this under. Just like it needs to be. Just like that. We're going to clip it. Just like this. Or pin it. I'm going to do this all the way around because we're going to top stitch all the way around the outside of this. Okay? And the reason we're doing that is so that it will hold its shape. And these make it a lot easier to pull it out to make it. Alright, now we're going to go over there and top stitch all the way around, and it's done. How quick, easy peasy was this? And then I'll show y'all how we're going to put something right here, okay? So I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Alright, here it is. Our little Taggie blanket. Isn't that cute? Isn't that just the cutest? Alright, I don't have anything with a hole in it except a pair of scissors. So this is how you do this. Put that loop, put your passy right on there. Take this, pull the whole blanket through here. Of course, the passy will not have, oh, wait a minute, I got this right here. I got just a ring here. Let's do that. That'd be better. Alright, hold on. Just pretend this has got a passy on it and it's not quite that big. Put that on there just like that. Pull your blanket through and there you go. Okay? Now it's tied on there with no hooks, no nothing. No strings, nothing like that. To get it off, you just pull the blanket back through. You can put a toy, you can put, you know, whatever. There you go. When it's time. Alright, there's our little Taggie passy holder, Taggie blanket, a lovey, is soft minky on this side, and our cotton on this side to match our little box. Isn't it just cute? It is just adorable. Yes, yes, yes it is. Sure is. You all remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a video. That'll be all for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.